Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. On the menu today is the Rupture, a T1 Minmatar cruiser with damage and rate of fire bonuses to projectile weapons. As always, I'm going to focus on the hull's strengths and weaknesses in the context of solo PvP and null. The Rupture is a strong and super fun brawler. It's cheap and highly effective against a variety of targets thanks to its solid damage output, utility high slot, and a full flight of light drones. It is, however, rather slow, especially armor variants, and like all brawlers, is vulnerable to being kited to a grisly death. We'll go over a twin rep cap boosted variant and an XLASB variant, and I'll also post some alternative fits in the description below. The Rupture can be either armor or shield tanked with the usual trade-offs. Shield tanking frees up low slots for more damage, projection, tracking, or mobility mods like gyros, tracking enhancers, and nanos, whereas armor tanking frees up mid slots to allow more control and utility mods like cap boosters, prop mods, and tackle. One of the key aspects of this ship for me is the ability to easily fit a medium newt into most setups. Twin rep fits, XLASB fits, most buffer fits. These can happily fit a medium newt, and this ability to put solid cap pressure on your opponent allows the Rupture to stand a chance against some of the strongest Tech 1 brawling cruisers in the game, such as the Vexor, Thorax, and Moa, all of which can surpass the Rupture in terms of pure damage output. Also, the medium newt allows us to better control fights against smaller targets. If we are webbed and scrammed by a smaller target who's under our guns, we can newt him out, pulse our MWD to pull range, and start applying damage as transversal decreases. The TLDR, medium newts are sick, mate. First up on the menu, the twin rep cap boosted version. Here we use dual 180s, a medium newt, scram web, medium cap booster, and an MW. We use 2 medium reps including an ancillary, double EA&M and a damage control, along with 2 nano pumps and a nano accelerator. You might want to drop an EA&M for a gyro, or drop to a small newt to fit bigger guns. All this is fine, do whatever tickles your dipstick. Flavor your light drones to taste, but since we're so vulnerable to kiters, I like to use acolytes or warriors, since they have a good chance of hurting most kitey frigs we can't apply damage to otherwise. This fit costs around 45 mil with everything included, gets 340 DPS heated with faction ammo and acolytes, maxes out at 2.4 kilometers a second and has a 5.7 second align time. It has 14.3k EHP with a 750 Omni DPS tank when heated, which drops to about 430 when the ancillary runs out of nano. This fit needs a 2% power grid implant, however you can drop the newt to a gremlin version to fit with no implants required if you have max fitting skills. Always use an Exile booster for a substantial boost to your active tank, and an anti-farm Eye Akira helps to better apply your damage to the Frigate Menace, T3 Desis, and fast cruisers, especially if you get unlucky and roll the tracking penalty on your Exile. Remember to never orbit targets smaller than yourself. Keep them at range or manually pilot directly away, and if you still can't track, overheat your newt to shut off their tackle and immediately pulse your MW while aligning out to pull range and start applying damage. Like many twin reps single cap booster cruiser setups, cap management in a close fight can be hectic. Even perma running the cap injector overheated, running both reps and tackle already puts your cap right on the edge of stability, and when you add the drain from our own newt and potential incoming newts, it can get pretty messy, dude. Be careful using the newt when taking a lot of damage. You don't want to cap yourself out and die when you might otherwise have tanked to tell the tale. Now let's look at an XLASB version. Here we use dual 180s, a medium newt, MWD, Scram, XLASB and Invuln, double gyro, double nano, and a damage control. We fit both a PG and CPU rig because fitting rigs are dank, and an anti-EM rig. I want to point out first here that dropping the Invuln for a web is legit. Applying damage with the no web fit can be difficult in certain situations, but with proper piloting and use of the newt, it's not a huge deal. And you can see this from many of the highlight videos linked in the description below. However, if you do still feel uncomfortable with not having a web here, then go for it. We're still getting a decent tank without the Invuln, as we'll see in a moment. This fit gets 460 heated DPS with acolytes and faction ammo, maxes out at 2.9 kilometers a second, and has a 4.1 second align time. Pretty sweet stats for a Rupture, especially that top speed and agility. We only get an 11.6k EHP tank, but we get an additional 31k out of the XLASB for a total of around 42k. Dropping the Invuln for a web drops this total down to roughly 31k EHP. This fit has much better damage and mobility and much better burst tank than the twin rep, but has no sustain tank and less control. This fit needs a 2% CPU implant, and be sure to use a blue pill. As before, consider using the anti-farm Eye Akira, it is dandy. This fit's capable of killing ratting Ishtars and Vexors, etc., but well-fit drone boats will come very close to breaking through your ASB reps, so you don't have long to kill the target before you get spanked yourself. You can find some examples of me popping ratting ships in this fit in the description below. I hope you enjoyed the video. Apologies for how late this is, my real life's been hectic. Check my other guides in the guides playlist and leave any feedback in the comments. I'm going to be doing a few more Tech 1 cruisers before moving on to battle cruisers, battleships, and their Tech 2 counterparts. Next up is the Vexor.
Your EVE Online experience is not complete without iwantisc.com, an EVE Online themed casino. Join in-game channel iwantisc and follow instructions. Mining, spin some slots. In Warp, enter a raffle. Camping in Jita, scratch a card. Prizes from frigates to jump freighters, modules, implants, BPOs and things. Earn ISK by inviting friends, progress your level and complete various achievements. Watch affiliated streamers on Twitch, take part in events and win free stuff. iwantisc.com